Hello and welcome to my show, Indus Cuisine, and I'm your Chef Basim Akhund. We're back with a new episode from the heart of Pakistan. Today's recipe is very interesting, and the name of today's recipe is Lahori Chargha. So I would like to introduce this recipe in a very different way today. We know that fried chicken is famous throughout the world. Every country, every religion, or every tradition, or every culture has their own version of this recipe. I'll give you an example. If you talk about fried chicken in Korea, which is also known as the Korean fried chicken, is completely different from the chicken which is fried in the United States of America. If you talk about Britain, Britain doesn't have fried chicken as much, but they have fish and chips which is deep fried. So people have something or the other which is fried, and the batter and the way it is done is always different. So Pakistanis make their fried chicken in this way, and today's recipe's name is Lahori Chargha. So this basically means that it's chicken covered with spices, and how is it fried. The main difference between this recipe and the recipe in the West is that in the West they coat the chicken with some flour, they make a batter on top, and then they deep fry it. In Pakistan we coat it with all the spices, and we give a separate chutney which is cooked on the side. So what we'll do today is we'll tell you how to make this delicious recipe called the chargha. For that, first what you need is you need to get ready with the chicken. So what I'll do is I'll cut the cling wrap off, and I shall get ready with the chicken. So now you need to understand one more thing. For this recipe you need a knife. So this is the chicken, these are the two legs, the wings, and that's the white meat. So what you need to do is you need to flatten the chicken out. For that, what you'll do is, if you can see over here, this is the spine of the chicken. We'll cut the spine of the chicken, and then I'll show you what to do. So for that, what you need to do is you need to pick up scissor and start cutting through. And this scissor needs to be a kitchen scissor. You can't pick up any other normal scissor. Why? Because this is very important. This is a heavy duty scissor, and what happens is if you use this, it will not basically chip towards the blade. So now cut this again. Have to be very careful. While you're cutting, you have to pull it on the top, and you have to just keep cutting with the spine over here. I'm teaching you how to do this. Why? Because if your butcher cannot do it, or if you cannot explain it to them, you can do it easily at home. Now what you'll see is you'll see the spine coming out, and we will not use this. You can either throw it away, either if you have pets at home, especially like a dog, you can give it to him after cooking it, or what you can do also is you can use it for broth. Throw this on the side. Now you can see the chicken is all ready. It's flat out, it says hello to you, and we shall start cooking it. Okay, what you'll do first is you'll pick up the scissor and cut through the legs. I would like to convert this recipe in 4 pieces, and then the other piece goes over here. So we have this over here, and now what we'll do is we shall cut through the meat of the chest. Okay, cut it right over here, and just let your butcher knife find its way. So we have cut the chicken over here, we have 2 legs, and we have 2 pieces of the white meat. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll pick up my butcher knife again. I'll just make cuts on it. In this recipe you make more cuts on the flesh of the white meat. Why? Because we want the spice to go in, and also when you'll fry this, you'll see the texture will also change. So cut it almost halfway through, so that the spice or the masala settles in. Cut it over here. We'll make multiple cuts for this recipe. Why? Because this is the way it's done in Pakistan. I'm basically teaching you how to even butcher a chicken on this show. Okay, this knife has been used, so I'll keep it on the side. You don't need it anymore. Do not mix it up with others. And now we'll pick up a plate and transfer all of this in the plate for just a bit. Pick it up, bring it over here, place the chicken, and now discard this board. I'll switch the board, wash my hands, and tell you what to do next. So as you can see now, the chicken is ready. Now what you need is you need to make the spice mix. So as I told you, this recipe will have a chutney on the side which will be a cooked chutney. Okay, so what we'll do first is I'll give you a rundown of the ingredients. I start cooking first. Why? Because I just wanted to get the chicken ready. Okay, so you need some garam masala, you need some chaat masala. Chaat masala is the tangy masala which you find in Pakistan. Basically what it is made of is all the normal masalas of the garam masala, which go a little less, and then what we do is we dry the raw mango, which is very tangy, you could say, and then we convert it into a powder and then we mix it with this. Okay, so you need some red chili powder, you need some turmeric powder, you need some cumin powder, which is over here, salt to taste, you need some black cardamom, you need some yogurt, you need some oil for frying, you need some ginger, and for this recipe you won't be using garlic. Okay, apart from that, what you'll need for the sauce, which is also known as the chutney in our own language, is some onion, some tomatoes, and some coriander. Okay, so now we'll get ready with the marinade. For that, what you need to do is first you need to pick up some ginger and finely shred it. At times, the concentration of the ginger in terms of a vegetable is complex, so you need to keep turning it around so that you get the perfect grip for shredding it. Okay, throw it in the dustbin, pick the second part of the ginger up and shred it down to the bits. This is done. Shake it up, pull it, clean the grill, take as much as you can and keep this on the side. I'm going to just dry my hands out once because the ginger juice is on my hand, and now we'll bring it together and we'll remix all the juice on the board in this. Okay, finally chop it. First we'll add around half a teaspoon of salt. Then you'll add some red chili powder. Then you'll add some chaat masala, and then you'll add a splash of oil, just let's say 1 teaspoon for now. Now what you'll do is you'll start pushing it in so that all the dry spices start soaking all the ginger liquid in. So, and now finally chop it, bring it together, and as you can see, the paste is ready over here. We'll pick up a fresh bowl, bring it in front, and now transfer all of this over here. This is done. So now the red chili paste which we made with the ginger is in. So you'll add some garam masala, you'll add some cumin powder, you'll add some haldi powder, which is also known as turmeric, and now you should add a little bit of oil, let's say a tablespoon, and then you'll add some yogurt. Yogurt we'll add around half a cup. For this recipe, you need to keep it in the sauce for at least 12 hours, which is called overnight. Okay, we'll pick up a spatula and we'll start mixing this. Mix it till the whiteness of the yogurt completely goes away. This is done. The masala is ready. Now what you'll do is you'll start dipping in the chicken into this. Now you want to dip it in a way that it is completely and nicely covered with all the paste we've made over here, the marinade. I'll pick it up and I'll place it back into the plate. This is what you'll do for every piece. I have the spatula in my hand. Why? Because if the sauce is a little less, or if I have to scrape it in the end, I'll just pick it up and I'll do it in front of you. Now this chicken needs to sit in the sauce for at least 12 hours, but if you do not have 12 hours, at least give it an hour so that the chicken at least gets the color of all the spice and a little bit of flavor at least on the top part of the meat. Now just do the last piece. And as I said, I need to scrape a little bit, so I scraped a bit and I started putting it on top. So now I let the chicken rest for at least 5 minutes. Until the time the chicken is resting, we'll go for a short break, and then when we're back, I'll let you know what to do. Keep watching Indus Cuisine, lovely people. Welcome back. You're watching Indus Cuisine and I'm your chef Basim Akhund. During the break, I just cleaned up a bit, and now what we'll do is we'll put the chicken for cooking, and then we'll make the sauce for this chicken, which will be very delicious. Okay, for that what you need to do is, first you need a deep wok type of a thing. Bring it to heat first, and then you shall add the oil. Okay, on the other hand, what you need to do is you need to use oil for frying. So it depends how much oil you will be using when you're using the type of cooking equipment. For example, if I was using a smaller frying pan over there, I think I would be using 1.5 cups. If I was using the bigger one, I would be using 2.5 cups. But because I need to deep fry this thing, so I'll be using around 5 cups at least. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just empty this bottle into this first. So I'll take the cap off, transfer all the oil over here. And let it come to heat. On the other hand, I'll use another 1/2 cup of oil from here, and I'll let it come to heat. So if it's coming to heat, we have time, and when we have time, what we can do is we can continue with the sauce we need for this recipe. So increase the heat to full, put this back on the pilot, and now pick up a small frying pan. The small frying pan's over here, so we'll just pick it up, transfer it here, increase the heat to full, and now reduce it to medium. Okay, this is done. Okay, now what you need is you need to make the sauce for this. So the sauce needs around 2 onions, which we shall finely chop. So the root is on, we'll keep the root on, make cuts over here, slice it, and finally go in. Keep chopping it finely till the time you hit the root. The root's over here. Keep an eye on the oil. The oil needs to be piping hot, and if it's extra hot, what we'll do is we'll put some normal oil to bring the temperature down. Okay. Finally chop the onions. We're finally chopping the onions. Why? Because we want to make a sauce. So for this sauce, we'll be using the blender at the back also, and we shall give you a nice thing in which you can dip all the bread you'll be having with this recipe. In Pakistan, usually people take bread with this, and that bread is known as chapati, or it's a form of flat bread, you could say. It's really thin and it is delicious. And the lovely part is that when you go to a restaurant and you're having this recipe, they will not serve this recipe to you in a go. They will keep bringing fresh bread in front of you till the time you are on a full stomach. Okay, this is done. Pick the root, throw it on the side, and now what you need is you need around 4 tablespoons of oil in this pan. This is done. On the other hand, let's see if the oil is hot. I'll just pick up a small piece of onion and I'll drop it over here. If it comes on top, if it's floating like this, it means it's properly hot. Okay, now we'll put the chicken in and we'll let it cook. Reduce the heat just for a second. Let's go in with the leg pieces first. Now we'll add a chest piece. And then another leg piece. And it's so nice that when I'm putting the chicken in, and as everyone knows, fried chicken brings a smiling face to every human being on this earth. Everyone who's recording with me is smiling now. Okay, so this is done. Okay, now I've added the chicken in the pan, or in the deep frying pan, you could say. And remember, whenever you're frying the chicken, it needs to be at least halfway covered. Do not increase the heat so much that the chicken starts burning on the outside. So what I'll do is I'll keep the flame on medium heat. We need to cook the chicken on medium heat for at least 5 minutes each side, and then I'll turn it and I'll give it another 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, now we come back to the sauce. Okay, for that what you need to do is you need to pick up the tomatoes, transfer them into the oil. This recipe is incomplete without the sauce. Why? Because it gets too dry otherwise. As you know, some people give mayonnaise in the West with fried chicken. We over here give you a nice tomato chutney which we cook specially. Okay, now on the other hand, what you need to do is you need to pick up some fragrant black cardamoms in front of you. Place them in the oil. Why? Because the oil will get nice and fragrant, and that will bring the flavor out. And on the other hand, I'll just pick up 2 green chilies. I'll cut them in half, take the stem off, and toss these green chilies in the oil so that the oil gets a little spicy and it gets that nice flavor. Okay, over here the onions are cooking. Add around just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. That's about it, not too much. You need to know one thing, that this recipe needs to be cooked properly and then you shall convert it into a sauce, not before that. Keep the lid on top. Okay, now the next thing you need is 2 tomatoes. What we'll do is we'll take the eye of the tomato out and throw this in the bin. Always remember, you need to clean as you go. Okay, cut the tomatoes into half, and now we shall finely slice them. You want to finely slice them and then add them to the onions. Why? Because I want it to be nice, fried and evenly fried. We don't want it to convert it into a sauce and then fry it again. We need to fry all of these things right now. Keep an eye over here. The chicken is delicious and it's cooking perfectly well. Okay, now take the lid off, keep it over here, and transfer all the tomatoes into the pan. This sauce is not spicy at all, remember that. It's just filled with this nice aroma and the flavor of the vegetables. Just another pinch of salt to let the tomatoes sweat. Okay, take the stem out and throw this in the dustbin. Okay, mix it up. And let it cook. Okay, we shall just cut the green chilies roughly to add some flavor. And now mix it up again. Pick the spatula up and give it a lid for at least a minute on high heat. On the other hand, let's just take a look at the chicken. You don't want to overcook it. Okay, now we'll change the side. And give it another 5 minutes, and the heat is not too high, it is medium, as I told you. Why? Because it needs to be cooked on medium heat so that it is nicely and evenly cooked. Okay, over here we've given this a minute now. This is done. Okay, so now you need to add a few more things. What you need to add is you need to add some green coriander, which we shall cook around finely chopped 2 tablespoons. That would be equivalent to 2 tablespoons. So keep this on the side. Chop it and transfer it to the pan. Reduce the heat over here. And mix it up. Now pick up the wooden spatula and cook it. Okay, let this cook for 2 minutes with the lid on low heat, and let this cook for another 3 minutes. So till the time this is cooking, what I'll do is I'll just clear out and then I'll let you know what to do next. So as you can see, everything's almost done. The tomato and everything is cooked. I'll keep it on the side, and on the other hand, you can see that the chicken is also almost done. I need to tell you something. I'll show it to you in a plate. Okay, so I'll pick up a fresh plate and I'll place the chicken on it to show you how it should look. I'll pick up my knife, keep it on the side, and we'll just transfer the chicken over here. Okay, as you can see, the chicken is ready. Now what's the indication that the chicken is ready? If I tilt it, you can see that the meat is leaving the bone over here. So when the meat leaves the bone, that means that the chicken is ready, and it will just take another 1 minute to cook. What I'll do is I shall just turn it once more to give it that 1 minute cooking on the other side before we start dishing it out on completely high heat. Okay, so now you want to convert this into a nice paste. So what you'll do first is you'll increase the heat, add some red chili powder. Why? Because we'll be adding some yogurt and we'll mix it up. Okay, so now pick this and mix it up on high heat. And now pick up a bowl which is at the back, and then transfer all of this into this. Okay, this is done. Transfer it here, and we'll pick all of this up and put it in the blender. It goes into the blender over here. We'll pick up around half a cup of yogurt, give it a lid, and process it. The sauce is ready and the chicken is also done. Okay, now put the heat off, and now you need to understand one thing. I will not serve the chicken immediately. I will let the chicken rest for at least 2 minutes, and then I shall give it, so that the sauces are properly and nicely balanced. It's acting a little funny with me, but as I am the chef, the chicken shall listen to me. Okay, the chicken is done. I've kept it over here, and now we shall serve it in front of you. So as you can see, today's recipe is ready. What we did was we basically made Pakistani style fried chicken, and in Pakistan you do not coat it with batter. You just coat it with masala. You can see how rich it is, how delicious it looks, and how perfectly it's nicely and cooked. So try this at home. Let me know how it was. You can go and comment on our link on our YouTube channel of Indus News, the official Indus News channel on YouTube, where you can go find our show Indus Cuisine also, and you can try the sauce on the side also. If you do not want the sauce, you cannot use it. That's your call. I'll see you in another episode of Indus Cuisine. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.